guys, this is Dr. Drake 63. You might recall a few weeks ago I did a video about this right here, which is a 1968. This is a Marlin 336, and this is in 35 Remington. And we talked about this firearm, and beautiful specimen. Well, just so happens yesterday I was at an estate sale, and I was able to pick up something that might even be a little bit more of a prized possession as far as Marlins go, and that is this guy right here. This is a 1952 Marlin 336 and 30-30. It's referred to as a Waffle-top. You'll see why. It's got a wavy pattern on the front, which was something that they did to hold down the glare. But it's a beautiful, beautiful example of the way we used to make stuff. And you can see some differences right here. If you look at this, I guess we call it a handguard, but this piece of the stock right here, you notice how this kind of has a thickness to it that this one doesn't. And there's some other things that are slight differences. It's a beautiful firearm. It's got a few challenges, whereas the receiver on this one is almost perfect without blemish. And this one right here has seen some better days. But overall, it's a beautiful firearm. And we're going to talk about it just a little bit today. Marlin 336s from days of old, way, way, way before Remington came along. One of the big differences between this and the 66 336 version, which was also an RC, which stands for regular carbine, which we weren't so sure about that last video. If you look right here, you're going to notice this has traditional rifling. It's not micro grooved. It's before they got into that. You've got kind of a bead front sight. Like I said, it's got some areas where the bluing has been challenged, but nothing we can't take care of. And there you go. The 336 RC. This one has the buckhorn sight left on. No one has messed with it for any reason. No drilling and tapping, but if you just look at this walnut here, it's just absolutely beautiful. Just going to point out a couple notable differences in designs. Up top you see the 1952 version, and up top you see what they were looking like in 1968. Now, if you look at the location of the barrel band in the front sight, you can see here in 68 that you've got a different front sight. This is the one that has this slot here to accommodate the hood. And this was put in front of the barrel band. Okay, and these are same length barrels, but in looking at this, you can see that the barrel band was put in front of this sight, and this is just a simple fixed bead sight. Get a better look at it right there. Call it a bead. It's really not quite a bead sight. You think about a bead being just a little ball, but that didn't have a hood that came with it, and you can see that this is something that you can drift that. You can drift this sight right here to adjust for your windage. So that's one noticeable difference. The magazine tube, barrel length are all the same. Again, I mentioned if you look at the stock, this drops down a little bit, but it's pretty much a straight line that comes in flush with the bottom of the receiver here. And if you take a look at what we're doing here on the 52, This is a much bigger foregrip that comes back and drops. Is actually, good 1/4 inch or so below the receiver, and then it tapers back up. The receiver's all the same. If you were to take off this Williams sight, you would see underneath this adjustment piece right here is another screw. You have these 2 screws, so there's no difference between them that way. Basic design's all different. They did go to a kind of a gold looking trigger, which they still do today. And here you see that was not the case here. But everything else about these is your basic design. I would imagine that these levers are 100% interchangeable. Probably the bolts as well. But you know, the quality of the wood, and you see this has a nice cap here, right at the bottom of this buttstock. This one does not. But if you look at the quality of the wood here, very similar. It's just good stuff. It's been well taken care of. You can see that they use the same plate on the end of the buttstock pretty much. Not a lot of difference there from 1952 to 1966. If there is, I can't see it. The big differences you would see would be how they're made today. So they tend to have kind of a Parkerized finish for the receiver. The wood looks a lot more processed. I'm not impressed with it. And then as we pointed out earlier, you've got a smooth top that's not blued. It's kind of a matte finish on top. And the thought process up through 1952, I think this is the last year they've done it from what I understand, was to tool these in. I think it's kind of a cool look. I especially like the fact it's not drilled in any way for a scope. I don't put scopes on these kind of rifles. I know there's plenty of guys that do. What's the most amazing thing about this firearm to me is, like a lot of good lever guns, over time they just get better and better, and I just want you to see if you can hear how smooth this action is. But it's just amazing. It's as easy to work as you can imagine. And always the dog with a comment. You also notice too, like on these older ones, you don't have that crossbar safety. What you have instead is a half cock. So you cycle your next round, you can release your hammer and just go one click, just like that. And as you can see, it's not going to fire. And you know, for some guys they like that because it's real easy just to pull it back and click. For me, what's the difference between that and being all the way full forward if you're wanting to carry in a safer type of scenario? And but that was kind of the thinking back then, and maybe if anything else, that's just a way to give yourself an idea what your condition of your firearm if you go ahead and you do that half cock. I kind of get that, but everything about this firearm is just 100% awesome. I picked this up at an estate sale, and it was somebody that just said, hey, you know what do you think it's worth, and what's a fair deal? And I said, well, fair for me would be $100. And they said, that sounds great. There's a little bit more to it than that. Also, and we'll do a review on this, that same person has a fairly nice 1897 Winchester 12 gauge pump that he wants to move, and I suggested that I'd be happy to work with him on that. So we're going to take a look at that firearm in an upcoming video. But this guy right here, a perfect addition, like I said, to that 68 Marlin 336 that is chambered in 35 Remington. tree stand gun, guys. That's what I use these for. Tree stand gun, shooting out, you know, inside 100 yards. Typically, if I'm in a tree stand deer hunting in the woods, I'm going to be well inside 100 yards. And that's why, for me, there's no need to have any kind of magnification or a red dot or anything. That might change as I continue to mature. But as of this point right here, I still enjoy shooting these kind of firearms open sight. And we're going to get this out to the range here as soon as we have some time. And we'll show you shooting side by side 30-30 with this 1952 Marlin, and we'll see how that compares to the later version with micro grooves and 35 Remington. So we've done reviews on much newer Marlin 336s. We've also done reviews on brand new, you know, the GBL guide gun with the big loop in 4570. But as far as just a classic design that's pre everything that people don't like about Marlin firearms, here you go, guys. This is as good as it's gonna get, and it seems like this firearm's in really good shape. This is Dr. Drake 63 saying thanks for joining me, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.